And let's go ahead and get the morning routine going. I already did start though with my hydrogen water. I usually don't wake up and set up the tripod and everything when I wake up and brush my teeth, no toothpaste, brush the inner surfaces of your mouth, your tongue, the roof of your mouth, the inner cheeks. There's a lot of bacteria that grow on there before you drink water. And then the first thing I loaded up on 1 liter of hydrogen water. And now I'm going to get my morning started with the morning smoothie. And you guys can't see it, but I have a new tripod. I finally did it. I finally broke down and spent the $10 on my tripod. So you tell me that if it looks even. So give me some feedback. Tell me if it looks even. This one's way more stable. Just want to make sure that it's operating as it should. But okay, let's just go ahead and get this started because today, and let me know if you can hear me. I got the earpiece rolling. And let me know because today I would like to go for a hike through the mountain. All right, what do we start with? We start with nutrition this morning. Okay, so first it says, hey, I read a scene of peace. Did you do the procedure with the 3 angels? Whoa, okay. We're getting right into this right away. Who is this? Danielle. My goodness, right to the spiritual talk. Um, actually, I did. Boy, it's weird to go into that subject right now. Let me start with this first. You can hear me? Great. Okay, power shake first. Why do we do this? Because all the ingredients in this are basically food, and we know that our food is deficient. I already loaded up on my hydrogen water, so my body's well hydrated. Gonna let the water run through me for about 1 big scoop of this stuff. It'll take about 20-30 minutes, which is about what it takes to make the smoothie. So that's perfect. Wow, that's weird. People popped in and popped out right away. We must have bored them already. All right, I'm going to use up my raw meal. No longer my favorite stuff because of some of the testing shows, obviously, some glyphosate. Now, look, you're going to find glyphosate in a lot of things, which is a pesticide, which is not good for us, even though this is organic. But I mean, you can't, get away from it. So, I mean, I am still going to use it. I don't like to be wasteful. And my hydrogen tends to appear to protect you. This stuff didn't show any glyphosate, which is why I buy it now, and it's very, very good stuff. Okay, next thing, let's go with little chlorella because I have it left over. I will probably stop using this also. Not that it's bad, but I just don't think I need it anymore. The Purium is pretty good stuff. Pretty happy with that. So we're going to go with that. And all this is to make sure that we don't have deficiencies. This is basically the multivitamin. That's what this is. This is what I do every morning. So far, my blood work is looking great in regards to all that. Okay, so I'll answer some questions here. You guys can hear me great. Yeah, some of the stuff with the angels, you're asking about that. And I'm not trying to ignore you or anything. Just a little focused on the smoothie here, but I'll just say to keep it real simple, and maybe I'll make more videos about it in the future. I'm just not sure if I want to make those videos yet. And actually, you know what? You know what you might enjoy more? Here's one. There is a show. There's a guy. His name is Alan. What's the name of his show? Like True Realities or something. Let me know if you know him. Alan Stein? Oh no, I'd have to look it up on my phone, and I'm obviously using the phone to record this right now. Steinman? Him and I, he really was, somebody told him about me, and we spoke. This guy knows his stuff. He's an extremely good listener. He catches on very quickly, which most people don't. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything, but when it comes to spiritual matters, not that people can't have a spiritual conversation, but when it comes to such subjects, I noticed that some people catch on more than others. Let's put it that way. And he really caught on. He impressed me. He caught on quick. He really did impress me. And so I did a show with him. He had me on his show, and we talked more about the spiritual aspects rather than just health in general. And so if you want to watch that show, that might answer some of your questions. And maybe I'm wondering if that's even how you heard about me. I don't know. That's why I'm asking Danielle. and he wants to do another one coming up. I don't know, I can't remember. I don't know if it's this Sunday or next week. I don't actually remember. I might have to look at the calendar, but oh no, just dropped a good piece of greens there. So I don't know, maybe that'll be something that would interest you, if you're really interested more in the spiritual aspect of things. But the spiritual coincides with this particular realm also that we're in. It's just that we have, I mean, the way, it's funny that even somebody like Jesus spoke of it. Most people didn't really notice, but he said things like, what is of the flesh is flesh, what is of the spirit is spirit. Now I'm quoting scripture, but he talks about the world of the flesh, which I believe that Buddhists call basically the ego, this world. And, but yes, the Essene Gospel is probably, it's a book that you would read and think, God, is this real? Like I read that thinking, is this real? But then what happened was I did have certain experience, which I won't go into today, clearly. Um, and I always kind of just thought, gosh, I was questioning literally my own sanity. But the good news is that I did have, luckily, witnesses, and witnesses changed everything for me, because that mean there was witnesses, and when everybody sees the same thing or experiences the same thing, that changes things. And anyway, not to go down this road too far, just that you asked that question, I hope we're not, but basically, I'll just say, let me put it this way: there is this whole other world, and it's literally here, and we just can't see it. We're literally asleep. The reason I know this is because I have seen it, and I've seen it more than once, and I know that it's true. And I don't talk about it because it makes you sound crazy, and I don't, it's just not my thing here. The purpose of this channel is to help people get healthy. Sometimes people don't know what's best, and I don't like to see people suffer, because for me, other people's suffering is also my suffering. I don't like to see, because I believe everybody's my brother and my sister, and we're all children of some might call the Most High, or you can call him God, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. The point is I like to do what Jesus says, which is love one another. I'm all about that, and yeah, we're all like family. And so yeah, like the humankind, we're all the family, and I really want the best for others. And I know that people tend to disagree on a lot of things, and people fight because this is why I don't like to talk about religion or politics, because it just causes people to get alienated from each other, and I don't like that. I think we should all care about one another, regardless really of belief systems, really. And so I like to keep things very simple and basic, because I know that not everybody will necessarily understand, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I know that some people, and everybody has, again, different belief systems, and just different things, and I respect it. And in the end, they all coincide. I mean, just like I said, you can talk about Buddhism and their understanding of the ego and the flesh, and if you really look closely at Scripture, Jesus talks about the same stuff too. It's just that, oh boy, I'm trying to break this thing with my hands. Let me just grab some scissors. That'd be a lot easier. So yeah, not to go too deep into that, because it always gets a little strange for I don't know. I don't want to say it gets strange for everybody, but it just gets. I don't want to alienate anybody, and I want everybody to feel good, be at their best. But yes, that was a book that I thought was kind of quacky, but I was open, and I do feel that I was able to verify that a lot of it, at least, it appears to be quite true, actually, which is really weird to say that, but I'll have to explain why someday. Um, okay, so we put the greens. Now we're going to go with the organic blueberries. Why are we doing all this? Well, lots of magical fibers, which science is yet to learn about. I mean, the Japanese are learning about it scientifically, but there's so much more to learn about the fibers from fruits and vegetables. But it's already becoming very clear that they're important. And so that's blueberries, organic, dark color. If anybody ever wants to, you can Google the health benefits of it. You can even type them in the comment section if you'd like. Oceans 11 says hello. I had a witness too, says Danielle. Aloha, Greg. And I think it's real. Okay, I'm just reading through all the comments. I can hear you. Great. And if you notice, you guys probably don't notice, I have, for those of you who watch the show, I got a new tripod, guys. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that it's straight. Today we're putting raisins because they have boron. Boron is good for the the ligaments, the bones, the brains, and what they call sex hormones. So we're going to put a little bit of those. Who doesn't want their hormones working right? I know I do. I just like when things work right, and that goes for everything. You can walk, you can hold your bladder, you have regular movements. I just love when the human body's functioning correctly. Just like my car, I like when my car's running right, starts right up, the heater works, or the air conditioning, depending on what time of the year. I don't like it when it leaks all over the place, that kind of stuff. So now I'm doing ginger. Root vegetables are actually very, very important to be organic, extremely important. And even if they're organic, is it a guarantee that they'll be as clean as they can possibly be? No, but again, we do the best we can. It's one of the main reasons that I use hydrogen, the protection of hydrogen. It's also another reason I like to have high levels of vitamin D in my body, because remember, there's no medical advice here. It's all my opinion, but I have seen interesting data in regards to certain protective aspects of vitamin D, so I make sure to have that up. And of course, glutathione, but glutathione is not something, in my opinion, that you really want to supplement. Your body produces it. I remember seeing some interesting data, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm pretty sure I did, about glutathione and hydrogen, and how hydrogen was helping balance out the glutathione in the body and bring your levels to where they are best. And so obviously I use hydrogen all the time, so I only suspect that my glutathione must be at a really good level. And all those type of things are the things that protect us from whether it's chemicals in our environment, obviously a little pesticides here and there. And see, my goal is not, you can't get rid of all the chemicals. My goal is to minimize them. And with hydrogen and good diet and everything else, and proper nutrient levels in my body, then my body's going to be at its best to be able to fight it. Will I always win? Probably not. I mean, I actually think I was exposed to something, let's just call it that, right? Because we don't have free speech anymore. Let's go, Brandon. But, I'm sure you guys can guess what I was exposed to. Maybe it was like the flu. I don't know. And let me put some hydrogen water in this. And I felt like I was going to catch something. And then I woke up okay the next day. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then all of a sudden, you're working throughout the day and you get tired. And then again, I felt like I was coming down with something. And then I got through it. And then again, I felt like I was coming down with something. And I got through it. And I got through it the whole time so nicely. I mean, it was the best that I've ever gotten through catching something. And me personally, I really, really, really appreciated that, because I absolutely hate getting sick, because I used to get sick all the time because my immune system was absolute crap. And I was always having other medical issues. The whole thing was absolutely terrible. Okay, we're going to put a little chia seeds in here that were left over. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys, and I've done it before, but I'm going to show you how I make the hydrogen chia seeds, because I'm out. So I'm going to make it right in front of you. And I know first what you do is you take one of these big jars and you fill it halfway. Why do I like chia seeds? They have omegas, calcium, iron, fiber. I mean, so many good minerals. Chia seeds are awesome. I do 1 scoop. You got to have the water in there first. Otherwise, I'm doing it in the perfect routine, because otherwise it doesn't work. And believe me, I know. I've done it the wrong way. Somehow these have an electrical static charge because the chia seeds are jumping all over the place. Thanks for all the thumbs up, guys, by the way. Appreciate that. Okay, now that we have it full, these are all going to get stuck to the wall, so I immediately have to pour in more water. Obviously, clean water, the better, and if you can do hydrogen, even better, but you are going to shake this thing, so if you're concerned about losing hydrogen, just don't do it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, now we fill it up with water, and immediately you have to start shaking it. I mean, really immediately. If you wait too long, it starts getting stuck everywhere. So I'm going to put these organic chia seeds away while we're shaking the chia seed jar. And after you shake it for just a little bit, you can set it down, but then you're going to have to pick it up within like 30 seconds. So like if I put it down right now, because it'll start settling. And meanwhile, I'll grab my celery, I'll grab my natto, I'll grab my carrots, and I do feel like I'm forgetting something, but I just don't know what it is. And see, right away, this was already settling. I have to immediately start shaking it. Okay, let's see. Somebody said, wow, a lot of questions. Okay, someone says, do you use wild blueberries? Are they even healthier than cultivated? Well, I don't know if they're wild, okay? All I know is that I bought them at the store and they're affordable, they're organic, and they are frozen. And that's the best that I was able to do. I mean, but I do during the certain times of the year, actually, I did pick my own blueberries from a place that's wild. It was really great. I even got huckleberries. Okay, let's see. Any sugar or honey? To the smoothie? Absolutely not. But I do use honey. In fact, I'm really picky about getting mine from an actual beekeeper, unfiltered, raw honey that is actually from very unique places, which he told me not to say too many of them, but basically places where the bees get cleaner ingredients to make their honey. Okay, Arikawila or whatever says, I want a car on hydrogen. So do I. I want a hydrogen car. I don't actually think that we need to, I think that we can actually make hydrogen cars that are basically like what we already have. You can actually, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, you can convert a car for roughly, probably about $8,000 to $10,000 to run on hydrogen. I won't go into details why they can't do it. Well, they can do it, but there's certain rules and regulations that don't allow it. But we wouldn't have to build all these new technology. We could use the current cars we have. That's going to be the future, in my opinion. I have a question, says Mike. It's healthy and safe to drink ozonated water. It depends. And it always depends on how you make it. Now, if you make it properly, is it safe? In my opinion, yes. You don't want to make it too strong or anything. But ozonated water, and I have a medical grade ozone maker. Do I drink it? Yes, but not like all the time. Ozone, I would only drink when like I would feel like I'm coming down with something. Because remember, ozone oxidizes, so basically it's really good at killing things. Same thing with hydrogen peroxide. That's why you put it on a cut to kill bacteria, so that you don't get an infection of some sort. Basically for killing pathogens. And so with ozone, I use it, but very differently than hydrogen. Hydrogen is almost like the thing that you would just do on the norm for your health. But as far as ozone, it's different. But I don't think it's bad. But you would want to make sure to follow a proper protocol for that for sure. It's very different than very different than hydrogen. Okay, now we have to activate the natto, which means we are stirring it. In order to activate it, you stir it. You have to stir 100 times according to the science in Japan, and that's minimum. We could probably go more than that. And before I keep going, let me see if I have any questions I can answer, I guess, while we're doing this. Arikawila says, I am using chlorella and spirulina for 5 years now, and I think it helps get rid of chemicals. You got to be careful with chlorella. I mean, I like chlorella. I mean, I did a deep dive into chlorella and spirulina, and I'm probably more of a fan of chlorella. They both seem like great stuff. The only biggest issue is sometimes where it's sourced. For some reason, they can carry heavy metals, but I do like it, and I've been using it, and I have had my blood work. Now, granted, I drink a lot of water. Being properly hydrated and drinking hydrogen water on the regular really seems to help, like whether I get some heavy metals in me, whether I get some glyphosate in me. People are even always worried about the oxalates because of the food I eat. Well, having a lot of water helps with that, and making sure that you're not deficient, especially things like calcium. Apparently all these things really help. And so that's what I do. And, and I've known other people not many, but a few who do things like me, who've been doing it for actually a lot longer, and they've really done well, and they're very old, and they've had very good luck with their health. Okay, see how it gets all foamy? I don't know if you guys can tell the difference after I've activated it. With my new tripod, which you guys can't see, I'm excited because it's just not all loosey-goosey. The old one was just like, you gotta like, it wasn't stable, you know, it would move around when you don't want it to move around. So it's kind of nice. I'm testing this new one out. It seems a little heavier than I like though. I wanted it to be light. But you know what? We do with what we can. And since this channel is being run on clearly a shoestring budget, that's what we do. Okay, chia seeds getting soaked up. This is what they should look like. It's great. Okay. Use honey. Somebody put use honey lately. I don't know if they mean honey. I do use honey pretty much daily, but very limited. Yeah, very limited. Okay, let's see. I guess I could put the banana in now. I don't know if you guys can hear my distiller running. I don't know if it's making too much noise, but I got my distiller running. I moved it all around, made some counter space. Love my clean water. Love my smoothies. Yeah, I mean, this is the food that feels good on my body. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could, eggs for breakfast. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. And it feels good in one way. The thing about eggs in the morning with like bacon or whatever toast, it feels very satisfying in the sense of like you're really full. But when you eat something sometimes, I don't know if this ever happens to you guys, you eat something and yeah, you feel satisfied in some way, but yet you don't feel real good in other ways. Like it makes you feel heavy or something. You're like, oh yeah, that was really good. But, I feel kind of heavy or kind of weird or whatever. I know I feel that way with fried food, which is, I just can't eat it. It tastes so good though at the moment. But something like this smoothie, after I drink it, I feel really good. I don't feel like I regretted it. I always try to remember when I regret something. If I do something that feels no good, then I'm like immediately like try to remind myself, okay, remember, don't do this again. And then because a lot of people do that and they repeat the mistake. And I've done that before. I'm guilty of that too. So that's why I'm like, okay, don't want to repeat that. I'm really big about not repeating mistakes to the point where I have to make these really crazy rules that I live by that most people would never understand. That's okay. Okay, so someone says, Ari Kawila says, sure, good, honey. Coffee with honey is a marriage. Marriage. Well, that's actually where I use my honey. I put, not a huge spoon. I put a spoon of raw honey in my coffee. I do enjoy having a coffee, like a nice little thing. When else do I use honey? I don't use it very often besides just one spoon in my coffee. I'm trying to remember when I use it. I think that's about all I'm using these days. But I mean, I used to do little desserts where I would put a little honey. I always try to be creative if I crave something. But ever since I've been using the hydrogen water for years and the cleaner diet for years, now this takes years. I hate to say that. Some people are going to be like, what? I don't want to do this for years, but it's a lifestyle. You get used to it. And after I've done that, the more I purify my body, things change. I stop craving foods. It's literally easier. The craziest part is I always had a hard time with fasting. Boy, fasting was hell. And I'm not going to say that it's easy even now. However, I've noticed that all these years of the hydrogen, of the purification of my blood, the healthy foods, it's gotten easier and easier to fast. Like I can go without food. Like I went without food just the other day for, I don't know, 21 hours. And it was like no big deal. I mean, it really was no big deal. But before it would have been tougher. So I don't have a hard time being hungry these days. And in fact, there are health benefits that from letting your body get to hunger, which is why when I have like I'll have a meal. Okay, I'm gonna put some of these chia seeds in here now because I didn't feel like we had enough. And you wait till you get hungry, and that hunger feeling is actually good for you, apparently. You know, And so someone says cheers, and I say cheers back at you. I'll tell you guys, I am a happy camper today. I've been eating a little different the last couple days, and it's been such a treat. I didn't show you guys every meal. I showed you some, but I didn't post them all on YouTube. I think I posted one on Instagram. If anybody's on either Instagram or what is it, Twitter, you guys can join there also if you like. I mean, I'm not a huge, well, actually, I wasn't really a big Twitter person at all until Elon took over. Now I can actually have free speech there. So I do like to say certain things there that I can't say elsewhere. So I am a fan of Twitter right now. Gotta love free speech. And I mean, yeah, things that I won't be able to say here. But on the other hand, I don't even really almost know how to work Instagram, but I'm on there and I put some videos and I just kind of guess and I think it works. And then I'm like, okay, I think I did it right. But I'm not a huge, as many of you know, I'm just not a huge techie person. I don't know how to do stuff online. As you can tell, I don't even really know how to edit videos. I literally just put the tripod and just hit record and just go. So just like this is just live, there's no edits. Running on a shoestring budget, just an old iPhone, though I got a new one now finally, but it's the cheapest one you could get. So it's not very high tech or anything, but I wanted the one that wasn't high tech because when they get too high tech, they confuse me. And I have no desire in my heart, which is no good, but it's the way I am. I just have no desire in my heart to learn about technology. I'm not interested in it. It doesn't make me feel, no, I'm just not interested in it. I'm much more interested in other things. And if I'm just not interested, it's very hard for me to learn. It was the same thing with health. I was not interested in it at all. And because I got very sick, I had to learn all these things. Even about hydrogen, it was so tedious to read the data on hydrogen, and I was so frustrated about it. But I did it, and then eventually, in time, I began to kind of fall in love with it. But am I a huge fan of all the little scientific medical jargon? No, I'm not a fan of that. I just want the main gist of it. And ultimately, what I found out, the main gist of it is that, yeah, hydrogen's amazing for you. That's ultimately what I realized. And then the focus really became more about how to make it. And then I realized that there are good ways to make it and not so good ways to make it. And I didn't even understand really at the time that there was purity, just like food. There's a way to do it more pure. And I had to learn about that. And so it was a learning process. Okay, let's see. Somebody says, need to experiment with smoothies again. Yeah, I mean, go for it. You are an inspiration. Really? Well, I'm glad I'm inspiring you guys. Cheers. I don't have a smartphone. I don't know how you're watching this then. And no smartphone club. Me too. Well, guys, the thing about smartphones to me, I mean, they're just basically like a little computer, but without them, I wouldn't even be able to make this video. And I'm not saying again, I think most things in life, maybe the smartphone included, can be good or bad depending on the user. We can spread really good information because we can connect with each other, and I think that's positive. It could be negative if you're just constantly on it and you're just like, you know, never stop, and you're, you know, um, maybe posting negative things, or it's used as a form of control and tracking, and anything can be used for good and bad, including hydrogen. I won't even say the negative things. I'm sure you can always guess. I'll just say kaboom. That's all I'm going to say. So that way, keep things safe. But yeah, you can do some crazy things because of the power that hydrogen has. But if you can use that power for the human body, which apparently it does like hydrogen, it's almost like a food for it, then you can use it in a positive way. And you could also make hydrogen in a very unclean way, and maybe that would be negative. And you could make it in a very pure way, and it could be good. Same thing as water. You could drink some water, and it could be really dirty and toxic, maybe make you sick, and actually potentially kill you. My father almost died from drinking some pretty bad water back in the day. And so water can be a bad thing and it can be a good thing. And I think that life in general is like that. And I think the main thing is that it's all about balance. Hence the whole thing about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I think good and evil is actually the wrong words. Um, the right words, in my opinion, because due to translation and language understanding, would be the tree of knowledge of life and death, not evil. It's just life and death. But death is not necessarily a bad thing. For example, somebody was asking about ozone. Well, again, ozone oxidizes, it kills things. Enough ozone could be a good thing. It could be something that's positive if you need to kill a pathogen. So life is all about that balance of life and death. And even water is actually that. Water is H2O, it's hydrogen and oxygen. It is life and death. And ultimately, that balance of not having too much water, because if you have too much water, if you drink too much water, you'll literally die. If you were to have too much water on planet Earth and flood the Earth, everybody would die. If you have no water, too little water, then you die because the Earth wouldn't have enough water, to grow everything it needs and all the many uses that we have of water. So life is all about balance. That's really what it comes down to. And that's the reason that we need to learn and understand that balance to ultimately bring us what we're wanting. The good health, happiness, because that's ultimately what we want, right? I mean, we want simple things, and I think that life doesn't have to be as complicated. And that's what I tried to do with these smoothies and with my life. I just wanted to make things as simple as possible so that they're affordable, doable. Like I used to do the juicing, guys, I'll tell you, that was a nightmare because it took me 4 hours. This takes me less than 20 minutes. It took 4 hours to make a gallon of juice. It was just too much. And I could make less, but then I can't live off the juice because it's just too it's not filling enough. And then you get rid of all the magical fibers. So, okay, nobody's watching clearly. Well, we got 9 people in here. So it's so funny. All right, so the No Smartphone Club. Okay, cool, guys. I hope you like it. Somebody says it is easy yet unseen. It is easy yet unseen. Not sure what that means. But either way, today I might actually make some oatmeal afterwards, too. I do like to sometimes make some oatmeal, and at that point I will use some raw honey in there. I might even use some coconut cream. I'll put some raisins and cinnamon, something pretty basic. And all right, so clearly we filled this thing up with mostly vegetables, some fruits, and now let's get on with the magic, shall we? What's the magic? Well, minerals. Why minerals? Well, we already put the powder because the food is nutrition, it's just deficient, and we don't want to be deficient. And now also the minerals because we know that the food is deficient in minerals. So I add more minerals to the water because I like to combine the minerals with the fibers from the fruits and vegetables. So they all blend together and make a magical, better than a multivitamin, in my opinion. And clearly it's showcasing on my blood. So it works. I wasn't sure if it worked. I mean, I feel like a clown, right? I'm like, come on, is it this simple? Is this really the secret? Just a smoothie with minerals and some powders? And well, apparently it might be because the doctor called me and said, I want to know what you're doing. So, here we go. Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to take the compost out while I let the blender do its magic. I got to tell you, that blender is what a champ. Made in America, really good stuff. That blender, I remember how it was so expensive, but it was, after all these years, I'm like, it was so worth it. Like these blenders. And I like to shut it off periodically, let some of the stuff drop to the bottom again, because when you turn it on, you can hear it start cutting everything up again. And then I'm going to show you some other magic ingredients, so give me 1 second. See? I don't know if you can hear it. I hear it. All right, let's put a little hydrogen water in the jar. That's what we do. We cut them with hydrogen. That sounds like it's pretty well blended. All right. And this is what we're going to do. Cut them with a little hydrogen water. All this is also for the absorption of the nutrients. We really need good absorption. So we're going to get that absorption of the nutrients. That's one of the things I'm clearly shooting for. And again, my weird methods, which I don't think are so weird, but apparently they're weird, work. And here we go. So I'm going to show you the next magic ingredient. First of all, for the one that I'm going to store, it's this one. We just fill up the jar. That's all we do. For the other one, we're going to do halfway. And I'll show you why in a second. All this takes roughly 20 minutes. That's all you got to do is get up earlier to do this. I know it's tough, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so this full one, we're going to just seal it up. Why? Because we're just going to seal it up for later. So we're going to do, let's hope this thing works today. I think I might have, I'm going to say, I'm going to shoot myself on the foot. I'm going to be like, I think I figured out how to do it. And then once I say that, then it won't work, right? But okay, so let's go ahead and get that rolling. This one, let's show you the magic ingredients. So I already did all the magic stuff for you, right? You already saw that. Now, you might be thinking, well, isn't that it? You already put the powders for nutritional deficiencies. You put a bunch of fruits and vegetables, obviously, for all the fibers and all the good stuff that just naturally comes from the whole food. You put the minerals already so that they're not mineral deficient. And here's my little magic last ones right here. Vitamin D3 and K2. We need vitamin D. So important, kind of ridiculously important. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally I put 4. I've been putting 5 lately. I don't know why, just because I want to. But 4 is about 5,000 IUs. So that's that. Next one, boron. Now we had done boron already, but I'm going to put 1 ml, which is right to this spot on the syringe right here. It says on there, if you want to see it, it says 1 ml. And just a splash more. And so basically 1.5 mLs of boron because it's good for the ligaments. Let's see, does this seal? Please seal. Yay, sealed. Hallelujah. Gotta love it. Now this is going to get stored in the fridge for probably later today, maybe tomorrow, but I don't like to let it go too far. Yeah, I just don't like to let it go too far. Okay, so now we locked in the freshness there. We put in the ingredients in this thing. You know, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to blend this just real quick. Yeah, it sounds blended. Okay, now we're going to pour this in to mix in with those other ingredients I just put in there. And guys, you have a high protein, high whole food, all the nutrition, all the minerals, everything, in my opinion, the body not only needs, but what the body likes. The body likes fiber. The body likes to be able to move its bowels, keep it clean. By the way, fiber is really good for pulling out heavy metals too. And I sure get enough every day. Most people don't. Less than 3% of Americans get the minimum amount. It's ridiculous. Okay, and then what do I do next? More protein. This is one of the most well-balanced omega-3s, omega-6s, more minerals, more nutrition. And it just makes it taste good. It's very nutty. And I like to chew a little bit because it's good for you. Not just drink it. Now let's try it. Oh yeah, good gingery taste today too. That ginger. I think the big thing is I only put 1 banana because I put the raisins. It's actually, for me, it's better. It was too sweet the other day. Well, too sweet. It actually still tasted good. I'm just saying that. I like it when it's not crazy sweet. Okay. I wish you all could try it. Okay, let's see the questions here. I'll tell you what, I'll sit with you guys for a little bit, answer some questions, because I'm also going to inhale some hydrogen. If you notice, my tripod is more stable. Tell me if it looks crooked to you guys, though. I'm not sure if I have it lined up straight. Why do I inhale my hydrogen while I'm drinking my smoothie? For a very good reason. It's not for nothing. Opening up those ghost veins, moving the blood, absorbing the nutrients even better. There almost nobody watches these videos. It's so hilarious, actually. I've only got 12 people in here. But I hope you guys are finding it helpful and you like it. People have been saying that. That's why I'm still doing this, by the way. I will not be doing this forever, though, just to warn you. Okay. Tritter says, first time making it here for a live. Well, welcome. Very cool. Mike says, celery juice is a big help for me. I don't doubt it. Fruits and vegetables are awesome. Where can I find natto, says Tritter, or T1 Writer. That's probably what it is. I find it at the Asian food store. So wherever it is that you prefer to go, but that's where I go. Can't find it online. It's in the freezer. They freeze them. So natto is obviously an amazing superfood. The word's getting out because now when I go to the Asian food store, it's almost all out. Well, actually, it is all out. All the natto is out. All the organic natto. And I'm like, what the hell? I can't even get natto anymore. I shouldn't have made these videos. Apparently, it's selling out everywhere. Kind of drives me nuts. Ariwa Kikila says, good question. Mike says, yeah, that fiber helps H2 in the gut. See, I agree with you, Michael. Got to have the fiber for the body to make its own hydrogen, too. It also appears to make it when you exercise. The color is frightening. Of this? It actually turns really red when I put the beets, but I haven't been doing beets lately. I thought I'd take a little break, but I'm already missing them. I wanna go get some, but it tastes fantastic though. Okay, must be good. It is. Okay, guys, I should probably say goodbye, right? Hold on. You ready? You ready for Gohan? Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.